For most of human history, killing another human being required looking them in the eyes. You could hear their breath. You could feel the weight of your weapon in your hands. Today, a person can end thousands of lives from a silent room, thousands of miles away. This is not just the story of weapons. This is the story of how distance, technology, and power changed what it means to wage war and what it means to be human. The first weapons were not designed for conquest. They were designed for survival. Sharp stones, wooden clubs, fire-hardened spears, tools born from the need to hunt, to protect, to endure in a hostile world. Over time, these tools became symbols of authority, craftsmanship, and identity. As civilizations formed, weapons evolved alongside them. Bronze replaced stone, iron replaced bronze. And with each material breakthrough came new tactics, new armies, and new empires. In ancient societies, warfare was deeply tied to geography and human limitation. Battles were fought at walking distance. Communication was slow. Logistics were fragile. The scale of destruction was constrained by muscle, metal, and morale. War was brutal, but it was bounded. That would not last. Ancient weapons demanded mastery. A sword was useless without years of training. A bow required strength, patience, and precision. In ancient Greece, the phalanx depended on discipline and unity. In Rome, the gladius was lethal only because it was paired with formation, command, and infrastructure. In China, mass-produced crossbows hinted at something new: standardization. Yet even at their peak, ancient weapons remained personal. The warrior was always part of the equation. The medieval period refined this intimacy. Armor grew heavier. Blades grew sharper. Castles reshaped landscapes. Siege warfare became a test of endurance rather than speed. Then came gunpowder. At first, firearms were unreliable, slow, and inaccurate. But they carried something revolutionary: the ability to kill without skill. A peasant with minimal training could defeat a knight who had trained since childhood. This was not just a technological shift, it was a social one. By the Industrial Revolution, weapons became products of factories rather than forges. Muskets turned into rifles. Cannons became artillery. Warfare scaled up, and human bodies became interchangeable parts in massive armies. World War I marked the breaking point. Machine guns, chemical weapons, and industrial logistics transformed battlefields into slaughterhouses. Ancient courage meant nothing against automatic fire. Strategy became statistical. Death became mechanized. World War II intensified the scale. Tanks, fighter planes, and aircraft carriers expanded battlefields across land, air, and sea. Strategic bombing could destroy entire cities overnight. The atomic bomb ended the war in Japan and began an era of existential anxiety. But even after the atomic age, weapons continued to evolve at a terrifying pace. Guided missiles, drones, cyber weapons, and hypersonic projectiles now allow individuals or nations to strike across continents with unprecedented precision. Artificial intelligence threatens to automate decisions of life and death. The human hand is increasingly removed from the act of killing. Yet, paradoxically, these modern tools are also the most restrained in history. Nuclear weapons have prevented full-scale wars between superpowers. Drones can conduct surgical strikes instead of indiscriminate bombing. The evolution of weapons is no longer just about lethality, it is about control. We have traveled from eye-to-eye combat to combat viewed through screens. From warriors tested by skill to operators measured by strategy and systems. And through it all, one truth remains. A weapon, ancient or modern, reflects the society that wields it. Ancient weapons shaped cultures of honor, valor, and mythology. Heroes were remembered by name. Battles became legends. Communities were intimately connected to their defenders, their warriors, and their craft. Modern weapons, however, shape systems alliances, deterrence doctrines, global surveillance. Power is measured not by bravery, but by technological superiority, industrial capacity, and strategic calculation. The greatest change is in distance from consequences, distance from accountability, distance from empathy. Ancient warriors faced the eyes of those they struck. Modern operators rarely see the human cost directly. The ethics of violence have shifted from personal responsibility to abstract decision-making. Yet modern weapons have also saved lives in the long run. Deterrence, surveillance, and precision strike capability have prevented wars that would have been catastrophic if fought with older weapons. Humanity now fights not always to win, but to avoid annihilation, a sobering inversion of war's ancient purpose. Weapons also define power and society in subtle ways. From swords carried as status symbols to tanks paraded in military parades, from early rifles in militias to satellites tracking missile paths, weapons shape identity, culture, and politics. They are tools, yes, but also mirrors. From stone blades to silicon chips, weapons tell the story of human ingenuity and human fear. Ancient weapons remind us that war was once a test of bodies and wills. Modern weapons remind us that war is now a test of judgment. The question is no longer how powerful our weapons can become. The question is whether our wisdom can evolve faster than our ability to destroy. Because history shows us one unchanging truth. Every weapon, ancient or modern, ultimately reflects the hand and the mind that wields it. And if we are to survive, we must learn that the deadliest weapon humanity ever invented is itself the decision to use a weapon without restraint.